When Meizu first came into the smartphone market, they were focused on bringing flagship specs into a mid-range phone price. And now they have entered the budget category recently with the Meizu M1 Note, released about 7-8 months ago, and they have the successor to it out now. This is the M2 Note, and this is my first impressions of it. We have a full review coming up soon, so if you want to see the full review, hit the subscribe button down below. Now in my unboxing video, I didn't talk that much about my software experience with it, because I have never experienced Flyme. But now that I've experienced Flyme's OS, I'm going to talk about how I feel about it. It is really nice. It has quite nice iconography, it has a very nice user interface, it has some nice touches. For example, swiping down on a list will actually hold it down there so you can tap the top item easily if you have small hands. Very nice touch. And things like sliding down from the launcher to bring down notifications, very nice touch as well. That being said though, it is a Chinese-based OS and there are some problems with it. For example, well, this isn't really a problem, but it uses the iOS style of a grid of icons, no app launcher. Some people do like it, some people don't. So if you don't like it, well, you could just easily slap something like Nova Launcher or third-party launcher on top of it, but do take note. And also there are some issues with text not being properly translated or not being properly capitalized, and these are small little things that remind you that you're using a China phone. But those little things don't deter me, and I love the little features on it, like what I said before. I really like the touchscreen gestures. I talked about it a bit in my unboxing videos, but I really love that you can just swipe up and unlock the phone if I can actually touch the screen while I do it. I love that you can swipe right and left to change tracks. I love that you can draw a C to open the camera. I love you can draw a Z to open to on the flashlight. I love that you can change all of that and set it all up in settings. It's such a modern feature that when I picked up another device, I'm like, I need to press a button in order to pick the device up. Oh, life is hard. I don't know where I was going with that. Another thing that's quite unique with this phone is the M button here. It's basically a button that is touch sensitive, and you can click down on it as well with the touch doing a back action on Android and a press doing a home action on Android. And we have a touch sensitive bar down here that when you swipe up brings up the multitasking tray. Not very usual for an Android phone. How do I like it, considering every other phone I've had literally pretty much has every single button and nothing like this? I'm mixed about it. While I do think it's quite unique, there are times when I tap it and it doesn't respond, and there are times when I click it and it doesn't respond, and there are times when I want to tap back but then I tap too close to another touchscreen button and then I open Instagram, and I'm taking an Instagram photo right now. To be clear, it's not like this all the time. It only happens maybe 1% of the time. But I can't help but think that if they went something like a traditional Android layout, it would have been a more accurate experience. That being said, this is pretty unique. And also when it comes to UI fluidity, it actually is really good. It does drop frames here and there, and a bit more than what I've experienced with Windows Phone, because I've been so spoiled by Windows Phone when it comes to UI fluidity. But in the sense of an Android phone, it's pretty good when it comes to animations wise. Very little stutter. In the cases of stutter, usually you're still achieving about 30 FPS, so not that big of a deal. And also do know that if you're planning to game on this, I haven't tested out gaming performance on this yet, but I don't expect it to be that great considering it is kind of worse than the predecessor in terms of graphics wise. And this is something that a lot of cheap phones fail to do well, the camera. How good is the camera? Well, I have another video coming where I test this at night, but my result is that it's pretty darn good. It takes photos with good saturation, good contrast. The only thing I don't like it when the photo taking process is that it tends to prefer lower shutter speeds and lower ISOs compared to higher shutter speeds in order to capture the moment. It usually lingers around 20th or lower of a second. Not that ideal, but I love that you have a slow motion mode. You have the ability to tap on something to focus and move the little circle around it to change exposure. I love that it has a built-in QR scanner in the camera app, and I love the dual tone flash on the back. I love that you have a manual mode that allows you to do shutter speeds up to 10 seconds, an ISO range up to 1600, though it's technically capable of 3200, and focal length, something that you don't really get. I mean, very few phones, especially in the low-end price point, have the ability to manually set focus. But one thing I really don't like about it is A, you don't have a live viewfinder, so if you set all your settings, you won't actually see what you're gonna get, and B, you don't have a white balance setting. Yeah, you think they actually have that figured out. I don't know why it's not there. But in general, it's a pretty pleasant experience. If you want to see some photos I did that is long exposure, I have a G Plus link down in the description in their full glorious resolution of 13 megapixels. I didn't take much photos with the 5 megapixels front-facing camera, I think. Yeah, and all at night, and with a tripod. I look like a crazy person at 11 PM, but let's not focus on that. In terms of the hardware, I'm not going to go over the specs because I did in my previous video. So I'm just going to talk about the feel in hand. This device feels really good in the hand. With rounded edges all over and very clicky buttons, which I like a lot. The thing I don't like, however, is the power button. On my model, it rattles. Now I'm not very sure if it's just my model because I know that when I tried it in a mall, I didn't have this issue. So it just might be my model. And it's also really, really light. In fact, it's lighter than my old phone, which is not very usual. Usually you expect a bigger phone to be heavier. So yeah, these are my first impression of the Meizu M2 Note. I'm going to get a full review out with all the good details of every single thing about this device, and believe me, there's a lot. But do I recommend this device just from this point? I do actually. It's actually a really good all-rounded device. My only caution to you is, if you're buying this from China, is that Google Play services do not come preloaded on this phone, and installing it is a pain because if you go through the normal way from previous Meizu phones of going to the store and downloading G-Apps installer, you won't be able to get it properly working because that installer installs the KitKat version at 32-bit, well this is a 64-bit Lollipop phone, so there's issues where I personally had no push notifications, and if you try to put your own without rooting, Play services still kind of says that it's incompatible even though it actually totally works perfectly fine. That being said though, this phone is super easy to root. Literally, you just go into your settings, a few sub-menus down and click enable root. It's really that simple, and I'm probably going to do it in order to get all the Google stuff properly installed. But do take note of that if you're buying from China. I hope you guys enjoyed this first impressions. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments. I will reply to them, and keep up for my full review. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Bye. Look at that gorgeous selfie.